Many thanks for staying with us on Global Morning today. Now we want to go into the first discussion for today, and we are looking at the federal government, the state government, and of course the local government, how they've been faring. We're working towards the celebration of independence, and that's going to be on Wednesday. As a matter of fact, an assessment of how we've been faring as it has to do with governance is what we're talking about, especially for local governments that got what we call autonomy. This is something that they've cried for a very long time. Then we'll also talk about the state. How is the state faring? What are the governors doing? What is the feedback like? Is it better than before, or is it worse? What has been going to the state governments? The federal government too will also look at the federal government. Whatever happens, the federal government seems to be the father. Whatever happens, even at the grassroots, at the local government council, a lot of people call on the federal government the president. Oh, I'm hungry, the president. Oh, there is no road in my community, the president. Oh, there is no water running in my school, the president, the federal government. Now, we will look at all of that, do an assessment on Global Morning today. My name, of course, I have my guest right here with me this morning. He is a political and public affairs analyst and also a security expert. So we are going to be cutting across most of the areas as far as time can take us this morning in the person of Professor Ibrahim Abubakar. It's good to have you join us on the program this morning, Prof.
Good morning.
Let's get to talk about the 3 tiers of government. This morning, we remember that the basic knowledge has it that these are the tiers of government: the federal government, the state government, and the local government. And there is some form of synchronization in the workings of these 3 tiers of the government. Let's get started, because whatever happens, the heat, everybody believe that the federal government is in charge of almost everything. So today we want to do an assessment as it has to do with governance. And we're starting from the local government. Now, the local government, remember, got an autonomy with this administration. And this is something that a lot of administrations, that is local government administrations, have clamored for. A lot of Nigerians have asked for. Even though there was some form of resistance from some quarters, at the end of the day, the local government has it right now. Now, is it better? What is your assessment of the local government councils in Nigeria after the local government autonomy?
Thank you very much. The issue here is that a lot of us Nigerians are not adequately sensitized, which is supposed to be the duty of the national orientation agencies. After the autonomy, which was a lot of bottlenecks experienced within a long period of time within our democracy for the past 20-something years, autonomy has been granted to the local governments, where finances have been disbursed straight from the federal government purse direct to the local governments. The issue now is that is a rule, but what is the proceedings? What is the regulation? So the local government are supposed to be self-sustaining by now. Of course they are, but the people are not holding the local government executives accountable. So it draws back to the federal. So if you go to the street today, the first name you hear is the name of the president. is either Bola Ahmed Tinubu or Mr. President or nothing else. Forgetting that the amount the local governments are receiving today has never been received all through these years of democracy. And what are they using these allocations for? Nobody. And nobody is holding them accountable. Not even the security agencies are holding them accountable. So you can imagine that the new trade of trade now is the executives of the local government are in the balance, while other people feel that the accusations has to go to the central, which is the federal government. But I will also say that the federal government also allow it, because if they have sensitized the people, they will have known how to hold the local government executives accountable or responsible for their downturn system. These are problems we have to look at, highlight on, because in the local government we still have the works department, which is supposed to be constructing truck C and truck D roads, feeder roads, and the rest. We have the health department, which is supposed to take care of the dispensaries, the health centers, and the rest, to go back to deliver health, an adequate health system to the grassroots. We in the local government we have the agri department, which is supposed to talk of farmers and food security. So we have a lot of things that the local government is supposed to do and deliver services to the grassroots, provisions of other amenities, but these are not done even as they are receiving so much from the Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Commission.
But there is this belief, Nigerians are made to believe that these monies have not been released to all local governments in Nigeria. Do we have local governments that are receiving this money as it were? Because when Algon cried out sometimes back this year.
Every local government has been receiving these funds from the central. Every local government, no exception. We have 774 local governments in Nigeria. So the 774 local governments receive. It is those ones created, which they are not, like in Lagos, they call them local council development areas. Those are the only ones that are not recognized by the federal body, that don't receive the allocations. So the local council development authorities are only the ones that are not receiving allocation, but the renowned 774 local governments receive allocations adequately.
But Nigerians seems not to be seeing the impact of this money is being received, based on research and complaints that we've gotten from people at the grassroots.
That is the same thing I'm saying, that the people were never sensitized. There are a lot of developmental programs in Nigeria that the people are not aware of. And when you are not aware because you were not adequately informed, you are not sensitized, and that is what most of the time I speak about the legislators, which are the House of Rep and the senators. Their staying in Abuja is doing more harm to governance. They are supposed to be going back to their representatives, going back to their contours, consulting with the people so that they know what the central body is doing. But when you are an Abuja politician, you come here to sit down and go back to seek the vote of the people in the grassroots every 4 years. That is the system we have here. but they will have complemented the National Orientation Agency, complement them in the sense of sensitizing the people. But the way it stands, the National Orientation Agency is not also doing their job, because people are not sensitized, adequately sensitized, and this is a serious issue, and that is where we have these conflicts that the central government is not doing much. But when the people are sensitized, they will know that the central government is actually doing much. Because states that were receiving allocation of maybe 2 billion, 3 billion before are now receiving 10, 15 billion and above. So what have they done with these monies monthly? Local governments has gotten to a point where local governments in this country has received 3 billion, 2 billion, 1 billion.
Just local government?
Yes, 500 million and the rest. What have they done with these monies? Are they accounting to anybody? Or just pocket all, walk away? So these are the things that need to bother us, because the whole thing goes back to the center, and the whole blame goes to the center. So when the center breaks down with the weight of cost from people and not really going back to the grassroots to tell the local government chairman, to tell the governors, for the first time in the history of Nigeria, states are receiving allocations 5 times more than what they used to get, 5-10 times more than what they used to get. And yet, there's nothing. The roads are getting deplorable every day, because it is only Truck A roads that actually the federal government's responsibilities. So what is happening to the Truck B, Truck C roads in Nigeria? Let's say we have blamed the federal government if the Truck B, Truck C roads and the feeder roads are okay, and the Truck A roads that are responsibilities of the federal government are not okay. But you can go now on and on, you find out that the states are not doing anything to even what is their own responsibilities. The local government are not even doing anything. In fact, the local government, if they care, sometimes they don't come to work for 2 weeks, 1 month.
That's how the local government.
The local government is not under IPPIS. They are not.
So no supervision. Nobody is watching what they are doing there. Why do we have the chairman? Why do we have the DGSA?
You have the chairman because you elected the chairman. But when you elected him, did you tell him his fortune? All they believe is that the allocation coming from the central is for their own use. Off track, I've seen a chairman when the first allocation came to them who went and married 2 wives.
A local government chairman?
Yes, because he has much not to play around with.
So marrying 2 wives. But then we also heard that there are some local governments in Nigeria, okay, that are doing very well, like is it Osun State? Osun State, where when they were marking their 1-year anniversary in office, so some commission road, some commission education, some commission light infrastructure and all of that. Why don't we have that replicated? Because one of the things that we're made to understand was that the account, you need to submit your account okay, verifiable account, all right, to the federal government before this money is being sent. Nigerians felt, well, that is going to be a way to monitor how the spendings is being done. So now, don't you think there should be people to supervise how this money is being spent, or the time has not come for that check and balance?
The issue is this: you are from a local government. Did you know the account submitted by the local government in which these funds have been disbursed to? Has the local government ever given you an audited report? Because you are a stakeholder of what they have spent, what is remaining, and what they have done with the money. When we say the local government are doing nothing to the people, to the grassroots, I'm not saying that it should be the whole 774 local government. Some know the functions of their office. But with what we have on the ground, education as priority, roads as priority, water as priority, movement as priority, health as priorities, food as priority, we have by now be thinking of where some of these amenities becomes free to the people. But up to today, we pay for everything in every part of the country. We pay for everything. People are still trekking on a bush path, not minding whether there are reptiles, there are snakes, there are whatever. They face their dangers alone. We allow our aging parents to go through whatever difficulties they are going through. So, what system has been put in place? What have we drafted to protect these local dwellers? What have we put in place to protect the farmer? Because it's not enough for us to discuss about food security when we are not talking of the farmer security. What have we put in place for the aged who are no longer mobile enough to feed for themselves? These are the things that I think the local government and the states supposed to start thinking of. And nobody is thinking of how do we reprimand these people? How do we contain the excesses? How do they account for what they get? Remember, apart from the allocation that the federal government gives to them, they also generate their own revenue.
Okay, internally generated revenue.
Yes, so these revenues, how do the revenues, are they being used? Because the whole markets, the whole local government belongs, the whole local markets belongs to the local governments. Any revenue generated from the market goes there. The motor parks belongs to the local government. So what they generate and other revenue accesses for the local government, where does it go to?
But whose fault is that? Is it not the federal government that is supposed to supervise, or you just give them money and you walk away? Because at the end of the day, like we got started with, the blame goes to the federal government. People know the federal government now that the governors are not even in tune with the local government autonomy. Don't you think the federal government is supposed to checkmate how much is being given to governors and even the local government's chairman?
We have the office of the Auditor General. But the office of the Auditor General to the Federation is to audit federal accounts. And I think we also have an office of the Accountant General and maybe Auditor General in the state, which I don't know. I can't talk about that. But what I'm saying is this. In the pool of government, the movement is the local government. It's the local government that the grassroots knows. Everybody is supposed to know who is the chairman of the local government. In the name of duties, you are supposed to go through the local government from your ward councillor to the chairman of the local government to the state governor, then to the president. We all can say for a fact that we don't know the president, but we know our local government chairman. We know our councillor. So our channel is supposed to be, if we are talking of governance, we are supposed to look at the councillor, because it's the closest person, supposed to be the closest person to us. Then we now look at the chairman of the local government before we start talking of the state governor. So if the councillor is doing well, the local government chairman is doing well, the governor is doing well, then automatically we will look at the president. And there is no way, if the councillor is doing well, the chairman is doing well, the governor is doing well, that people will not recognize Mr. President.
And if they are doing bad too, then Mr. President will also take the hit.
Yes, that is where it is. That is why I said he's receiving the hit, because this three class has not fulfilled their obligations. In the delegation of duties, this one has not fulfilled its obligation. Politically, this is the political, this is where the political score start from. The councillor to the chairman. The chairman, which is the executive, to the governor. The governor to the president. If we are having an ideal society, my complaint is supposed to go to the councillor, which from my word, because he knows me. Inadequate security, political security system is the councillor, because the councillor should know me. I'm in his ward, so he should know me. Even in a policing network, under neighborhood policing, is the councillor, because he knows everybody. He's supposed to know everybody within his ward. So we move from there to the chairman. So if I have any complaint going to Mr. President, in a due case when we are looking at grassroots mobilization, grassroots policing, I am supposed to start with the councillor, who will take my complaint to the chairman. Then from there to the governor, before it comes to the president. But these days, we go straight to the president because we want to be known. So the fact remains that the president can ease himself if only there is a streamlined movement from the councillor to the chairman to the governor down to himself. So in a normal thing, in a normal setting, Mr. President take course in what is supposed to be, what is supposed to be. He take course and cognizance of the rules and the procedures, not bothering himself with most of the things that are not going to bring dividends to the country.
All right.
The economy is in shambles today because this class of people have really not done what they are supposed to do.
Now, like I was saying the other time, in Kwara State, for instance, there is an applause, okay, going for the local government autonomy, and this, according to the report we have, they are doing well. But for Osun State, it's a different ball game. It was just been said, even in the papers this morning, in one of the papers this morning, some of the papers, not even one, it's been said that federal government has paid Osun State local government allocation into APC members' account. Noga is the one that reviewed that. How possible can that be?
I would not want to dispute anything with Noga, because Noga is the umbrella of all the local government chairmen. But will the federal government pay local government funds to APC members who are not executives of that local government? I don't want to dabble into political issues, because the submission you are doing, you are submitting a local government account. So are you saying that the money meant for municipal area council, for example, and municipal area council account will not be submitted, and because someone is an APC member whose name is Yakubu Yaya, you pay into Yakubu Yaya's account, or you pay into APC account in municipal? Because this money is coming straight from the Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Commission, who direct the ministry, the Federal Ministry of Finance, to pay to each. So when it is very easy to allege, but can you defend it? I know all these things could happen because we are getting to 2027 and the rest, because these monies are not just being paid. This is not the first time. The money has been paid for a couple of months now. Let's not say couples of years, but couple of months now. So are they changing the accounts now to pay it into APC's members' account?
Just the way you said it, I think it's sounding political somehow, because while we're talking, during the newspaper review, we also talked about it. And of course, APC have said, well, tell us the accounts that this money was paid into. Then the problem is that in the midst of all, probably with all this story, somebody may give excuse and said, I didn't get allocation for this month, and that's the reason A project or B project was not being done. And even in Adamawa State, we heard of how training was being done for I think it was somebody sent that to me. I saw that picture of some women going for training, and it was tagged that they are local government chairmen's wives going for training. Is that not mismanagement of fund?
It is very funny, because I ran into that story too, and I tried to peruse the story and said, what is the function of local government wives going for foreign training, not just training in internal training, foreign training? Is it an empowerment system? Are they elected members? Are they executives of the local government, or what? So, but I came to recognize something. If you watch everywhere now, in Abuja and outside Abuja, the only thing you see, every civic center, every hotel, everywhere is occupied with training. And I have looked at it as the only new method to embezzle our money. Because you see somebody setting up a 2 weeks training, and that 2 weeks training just take 24, 48 hours. And they give people certificate for 2 weeks and give their CPET to go back home. Logically, it's a new trend, and I don't know what the security bodies are doing about this, because this is the new system. So I'm surprised that local government chairmen's wives are now going for foreign training. Not even the local government chairman, but their wives are now going for foreign training. So I don't know what part is the woman playing.
So as we round up now, are you for or against the local government autonomy?
No, local government autonomy would have been the best thing for the society.
Would have been, but it's not.
Yes, it won't be, because I said the people were not first of all sensitized.
The local government chairman or the
it's just like now a governor will sit down in his office and wrote a gazette to say the so community should have a king without consulting the community. When you did not consult the community, why must you have a gazette? Because the community has to agree to say we need a king. You understand me? You cannot just impose a king on them, because they have a traditional value system. So you follow that traditional value system. So no governor, nobody of the State House of Assembly or so, or even the office of the Chief Tertiary Affair, and that is why we have a lot of this. So it is just the same thing we are talking of, these local government allocations. It's the best, but you also have to sensitize the people that you have to hold on to this local government chairman.
All right. Well, our time is up. This is where we'll peg it. But now, finally, before we go, what would you have to say to the people at the local government and Nigerians in just maybe 1 minute?
Well, the local government people, the people in the local government and the states should also know that these funds disbursed from the center is for their own use and their own good and development, and they have every right to ask for accountability, and it must follow a transparency process. And if it's not following that, then we are not then it is not a game. They should give account and regular account for every penny that is spent or mobilized to the states and the local governments. It is a duty. And to cram it all, I want to also, one of our great-grandmother that just passed on at the age of 110. I think the people have to recognize this mother, because it's somebody that has taken and trained over 1,000 Nigerians at her own capacity. So if she has gone, we should also recognize that Mama Apple Adam, who was just buried last weekend, this last weekend, has done more for the nation. She didn't look at her tribe. She didn't look at her ethnicity. She didn't look at anybody to bring up about 1,000 Nigerians. I appreciate her, because it's one of the people that has actually mirrored my mind, that makes me to have a drive to also train. I have about 2,700 graduates in Nigeria today. And I copied that from her. So
that you trained?
Yes, with my own. I'm not talking of train as a teacher, but also train from my pocket.
Oh, 2,700?
Yes, over 2,700 today.
Wow.
I copied it actually from Mama Aipo Adam, who who we lost at the age of 110.
That's
And
a
I
life
would say
respect.
the family should also take it as one of the things that has to happen. She is a great grandmother, and she has paid her dues.
All right. May her soul rest in perfect peace, and of course, right to the grassroots, to the local government. Instead of just waiting for the local government all the time, you can also play your own part by contributing to the growth of the local government by training one person, either in vocational studies or maybe skill acquisition. Many thanks for joining us on the program this morning, Prof.
Thank you very much.
This is the size of the first discussion. The second discussion comes up immediately with Priscilla Obasi.